Ruby Sings the Blues by Niki Daly. Ruby was loud, very loud. When she hollered down the street, the man on the top floor yelled, "Keep it down, loudmouth. I'm trying to sleep." Ruby says, "Hey, everybody, I'm home." The student on the middle floor shouted, "Hey, boombox, I can't hear myself think." The saxophonist and the jazz singer in the basement looked at each other. "Awesome," they said. At home, Ruby's parents tried to stay calm. "Ruby, dear," they said, "do you think you could be a bit quieter?" "Just a teensy bit down," said Ruby's father. "How's this, Pops?" "Better," they said. "Now, do you think you can keep it that way?" "Okay, I'll try." But in class, Ruby was loud, head-splittingly loud. "Hey, Mrs. Nightingale, may I answer the question?" At playtime, Miss Nightingale spoke gently to Ruby. "Let's pretend that you're a sound blaster," said Miss Nightingale, pointing to the 3 buttons on Ruby's blouse. "This button is your on button. This one is your off button. And the one in the middle is your volume control." Miss Nightingale gave Ruby's middle button a twiddle. "Okay, let's hear you, Ruby," she said. "Am I on now?" "You're always on, Ruby, and always loud," said Miss Nightingale. "Why don't we turn down the volume a bit more? Is this better?" "Much better, Ruby. Now, go and play," said Miss Nightingale. Ruby ran outside, turned her volume control right up, and blasted across the playground. "I'm a sound blaster!" The other children couldn't bear it. They all turned around and shouted, "Switch it off, Ruby! You're hurting our ears!" No one wanted to play with Ruby. She was just too loud to have around. Switched off and sad, Ruby walked home. No one in her neighborhood even knew she had been home. The whole afternoon, Ruby kept quiet. Her mother wondered if she was sick. But Ruby wasn't sick. She had the blues. When the sax player and the jazz singer didn't hear Ruby upstairs, they knocked on the door and asked, "What's up with Ruby?" In a teensy voice, Ruby explained how nobody wanted to play with her because she was too loud. "Well, we think you have an awesome voice," said Bernard, the sax player. "Yes," said Zelda, "I'd love to teach you how to use it." "Would you like to learn how to sing, Ruby?" asked her mother. "Awesome!" Ruby's mother smiled. There was nothing wrong with Ruby. Every day after school, Ruby took singing lessons with Bernard and Zelda. She copied the musical notes Bernard made on his saxophone. Zelda taught Ruby how to use her volume control so that she could sing sharp, zooming notes like the sounds of the city, and gentle, breathy notes like a cool evening breeze. Most of all, she taught Ruby to sing with feeling. When the man on the top floor heard Ruby, he said, "What a beautiful voice." The student on the middle floor said, "Cool, man." And the kids on the block came out and danced on the sidewalk, chanting, "Go, Ruby, go!" And Bernard looked at Zelda and said, "Listen, Ruby's singing the blues." And when Ruby sang in her school concert, she was, well, awesome. But once in a while, when the neighbors least expect it, she turns it right up. "Hi, everybody, I'm home!" Just to check that her volume control is still working.